Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare हरे कृष्णा वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय शीला प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्णा I welcome everybody to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call of our mid morning session. Today is very special day and very joyful day for all of us. It's Krishna Janmashtami. I welcome everybody to on this special day. We have special class. A blue lotus blooms in Nanda's courtyard. Today's special topic by His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhuji. Before we start the class, may I know who all joined this morning?
Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajas. This is Preeti Vilasini Devidasi from California. Hare Krishna.
Preeti Vilasini Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your valuable association. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Happy Janmashtami to you and all the devotees. This is Raj from Canada.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining in. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devidasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Indu Mataji.
Happy Janmashtami, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining in. Happy Janmashtami to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. If there are nobody who would like to introduce themselves, we can chant for some time until Prabhuji joins. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, we cannot hear you. Can you please adjust your audio?
Krishna, friends call. I wish everybody happy Janmashtami. Please grace Hariparshad Prabhuji to enlighten us on a blue lotus blooms in Nanda's courtyard. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Maharaj. Thank you so much for the Hope you could hear me, Prabhuji. I don't know.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me, Mataji, clearly?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, for kindly introducing me. Thank you so much for kindly inviting me here today to speak something on the occasion of Shri Krishna Janmashtami. My sincere thanks to all the organizers of Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference, Priti Vilasini Mataji, Kirtida Sundari Mataji, all the other devotees who are kindly involved with the entire effort of carrying out Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference so nicely. So today is the most auspicious day of Shri Krishna Janmashtami, and all of us are blissfully fasting today in sweet remembrance of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So today it is my great good fortune that I have been invited here to speak something on the topic of a blue lotus blooms in Nanda's courtyard. So before we begin, it is Shisht Parampara, the tradition established by the previous great acharyas, that one should always begin with Mangalacharan. So following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, I will also begin with Mangalacharan. Most of us already know these verses, so you can kindly sing along with me. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaha Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare. So, Priti Vilasini Mataji, can you hear me clearly and distinctly?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
No background effects, right?
No.
No. Thank you so much for confirming. Welcome once again, dear devotees, to this Janmashtami special presentation on a blue lotus blooms in Nanda's courtyard. Before I begin speaking something, I would like to start with a quote from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Vacha. Although Krishna was the real son of Vasudeva and Devaki, because of Kamsa's atrocious activities, Vasudeva could not enjoy the birth ceremony of his son. But Nanda Maharaj, the foster father, celebrated the birth ceremony of Krishna very joyfully. The next day, it was declared that a male child had been born to Yashoda. According to Vedic custom, Nanda Maharaj called for learned astrologers and Brahmanas to perform the birth ceremony. This is from Krishna book, chapter 5. So, just as in this particular paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is focusing upon the actual ceremony of Krishna's birth, that is Nandotsava. Similarly, in today's presentation also, I will be focusing on this celebration named Nandotsava, because Krishna was born on Ashtami Tithi, but for the devotees, the real festivals begin at Nandotsava. Because when Krishna was born, he appeared in a prison house, that too of Kamsa, and he was carried by Vasudeva to the house of Nanda and Yashoda, and the devotees did not get an opportunity to celebrate Krishna's birth as soon as he appeared. So, for us devotees, the birth of Krishna is celebrated especially at Nandotsava. So, today's presentation is dedicated to Nandotsava, or the celebration which was organized by Maharaj Nanda. But before we move ahead, it is very important to speak something about what is the qualification of the speaker. See, between the speaker and the audience needs only one qualification, and that is eagerness to hear. So that qualification is already present in all of you, because all of you are blissfully situated here today as the audience. But somebody may ask, what is the qualification of the speaker? So, in reply to this, I can only say what my Shiksha Guru, Sri Srimad Gaur Govind Maharaj, used to say, that disqualification is my only qualification. Today, I am trying to present various realizations from various acharyas, but these acharyas are very great, but the via medium through which their realizations are being presented, that is my speech, is not so glorious and good. So this disqualification I am carrying with me, and even though I am disqualified to speak on this subject matter, still I am making the effort of speaking upon it. Somebody may ask, won't your speaking upon these subject matters, won't your speaking on these realizations of the previous acharyas, won't it spoil the beauty of the previous acharyas' realizations? Certainly, it appears that if an unqualified person speaks, then the beauty of the previous Acharya's realizations will be spoiled. Is it not the case? So, in reply, I would like to say that please do not think that my disqualification will spoil the writings of the previous Acharyas. There is a very nice verse which is composed by the poet Jayadev. This is not Jayadev Goswami, but another Jayadev who appeared in the western part of India. He was also about to write a composition on poetics, and many people doubted if he could do it correctly. So, at the beginning of his composition, Sri Jayadev wrote the following verse: Na shankaniyamete मतमेतेन दूष्यते किन्तु चक्षुर्मृगाक्षीणां कज्जलेनेव भुष्यते न आशंकनीयम. Dear devotees, please don't doubt. Etesham matam, that the writings and opinions of these previous great acharyas will be dushyate, will be spoiled by my speaking upon them. Kintu chakshur mrigakshinam kajjalenev bhushyate. See, my speech, my qualities may be as useless as kajal. All of you have seen kajal. It's a black substance. If it touches anywhere, if it touches a wall, the wall gets spoiled. If it touches anywhere, that thing gets spoiled. But chakshur mrigakshinam, if that same kajal is applied to the eyes of beautiful ladies, then bhushyate, then the eyes of those ladies appear to be even more beautiful. Similarly, my realizations, my speaking may be as useless as dark kajal. But the writings of the previous acharyas are like the beautiful eyes of beautiful ladies. So when this dark kajal of my speech is applied on the realizations, the beautiful eye-like realizations of the previous acharyas, then I am sure that these realizations will appear to be even more beautiful. So this is the translation. The audience should kindly not doubt that the opinions of these previous great acharyas will be spoiled by these explanations of mine. In fact, their opinions will be highlighted and glorified even more. Just as beautiful doe-eyed ladies appear even more beautifully decorated when a useless black substance named kajal, nowadays it is known as kohl, is applied on their eyes. So dear devotees, a lady's eyes may already be beautiful, but they become even more beautiful when a useless dark substance is applied upon them. That substance is named kajal. Similarly, my explanations may be like kajal, useless like kajal. But I am sure that when they are applied on the beautiful eyes of the beautiful ladies of the realizations of the previous acharyas, then these realizations will emerge out even more beautiful. With that sincere appeal and prayer, I begin my presentation on Shri Krishna Janmashtami. Actually, dear devotees, today is Ashtami Tithi of the month of Bhadrapad, and it is Krishna Paksha, the dark fortnight. So today is the Ashtami Tithi, the 8th day of Krishna Paksha, the dark fortnight of the month of Bhadrapad. But this particular Ashtami Tithi is also of two types. So what are the two types of Ashtami Tithis? This is noted by great astrologers and scholars of the past. there was a brilliant astrologer and scholar whose name was Sri Kamalakar Bhatt, and he composed a literature which was known as Nirnay Sindhu. And Nirnay Sindhu, this literature, it became the de facto manual for all the tithis, all the festivals, all the great events that take place in India. So this Nirnay Sindhu is the standard guiding manual for almost all of the traditions in India. And based on this Nirnay Sindhu, they took out a calendar which is very popular in India. It is called as Kal Nirnay. So Nirnay means decision and Sindhu means ocean. So the ocean of decisions is Nirnay Sindhu. Nirnay Sindhu says, Atha Janmashtami. Now we will describe Janmashtami. Then it says, Ashtami Dvedha. So this Ashtami of the month of Bhadrapad, Krishna Paksh, is of two types. Janmashtami, Jayanti, Cheti. First is Janmashtami and second is Jayanti. So these are the two types. So now a description of Janmashtami. Ashtami Tithi is of two types, Janmashtami and Jayanti. Tatra Adya Kevalashtami. Now when the Ashtami Tithi of this Bhadrapad Mas, Krishna Paksh, is aligned with constellations besides Rohini, then this Tithi, she is known as Janmashtami, ordinary Janmashtami. Of course, no Janmashtami is ordinary, but usually she is known as Janmashtami. And Saiva Rohini Yukta Jayanti. And when this same Tithi, she is aligned with a specific nakshatra named Rohini, then she is known as Jayanti. So there are two types of Ashtami Tithis, Janmashtami and Jayanti. Today, the Ashtami Tithi here in India is aligned with the Kritika constellation, not with the Rohini constellation. Rohini constellation will be aligned tomorrow, but tomorrow it will no longer be Janmashtami. So in some particular year, it may happen that the Ashtami Tithi is aligned exactly with the Rohini constellation. So that particular Tithi is not only known as Janmashtami, but it is also known as Jayanti. Now, sometimes another rare phenomena may occur, that it may be Ashtami Tithi, it may be Rohini constellation, and it may be a Wednesday. So that is the exact combination in which Krishna appeared. It was a Wednesday, it was Ashtami of Krishna Paksha, of Bhadrapad Mas, aligned with the constellation named Rohini. So when that rare combination occurs, that is considered to be a very special Jayanti. So dear devotees, this is the description of two types of Ashtami Tithis. So today is Janmashtami, which is not aligned with Rohini Nakshatra. Moving ahead on this Janmashtami, our Bhagavan Shri Krishna appeared in the life of Nanda and Yashoda. If we meditate upon all the reasons that Bhagavan Shri Krishna appeared, if we try to find out all these reasons from Shastra, we may be able to find various reasons. But our previous acharyas have extracted three main reasons from all of the reasons given in Shastra. And these three main reasons are described by our previous acharyas. Especially here, I would like to highlight the opinion and the verse composed by Shri Kavi Karnapur in his Ananda Vrindavan Champu. In Ananda Vrindavan Champu, Shri Kavi Karnapur composes a beautiful verse in the meter Mandakranta. And this verse describes the three purposes of Krishna's appearance. Just like there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita describing the three hidden reasons behind Mahaprabhu's appearance. Similarly, in the Ananda Vrindavan Champu, there is a verse describing the three purposes of Krishna's appearance. So this verse is as follows. Atma Raman Madhura Charitai Bhakti Yoge Vidhasyan Nana Lila Rasarachanaya Nanda Yashyan Swabhaktam Daityani Vita Karishyan Murtanando Vrajapati Grihe Chatavat Pradurasi. So beautiful verse in Mandakranta meter. We can also sing it in another way. Atma Raman Madhura Charitair Bhakti Yoge Vidhasyan Nana Leela Rasarachanaya Nandayishyan Swabhaktan Daityani Bhuvamati Taram Vita Bharam Karishyan Murtanando Brajapati Grihe Chatavat Pradurasi. Usually this meter is sung very fast. Today I am singing it slow so that everyone can hear and understand it. So Shri Kavi Karnapur says, Atma Raman Madhura Charitair Bhakti Yoge Vidhasyan. First reason. Atma Raman, to bring the self-satisfied Atmaram sages. Bhakti Yoge, within the fold of Bhakti. Vidhasyan. How? Madhura Charitair, by exhibiting his sweet pastime. So first reason is to bring all the self-satisfied Brahmavadis, Atmaram sages into the fold of Bhakti by exhibiting his sweet pastimes. Examples are Sri Shukadev Goswami, who was tremendously attracted after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are many other examples of Brahmavadis, Atmaramas who got attracted to Krishna Bhakti. This is the first reason. Second, Nana Leela Rasarachanaya Nandayishyan Swabhaktan Anandayishyan, to give pleasure to his own devotees. How? By Nana Leela Rasarachanaya, by manifesting various rasas pertaining to various fasting. So to exhibit all five rasas, Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, and to give pleasure to his own devotees. This is the second reason. Third is Daityani Kai Bhuvamati Taram Vitabharam Karshyan. So Vitabharam, to relieve the burden of Bhuvam, of the earth, which is troubled by Daityani Kai, various hordes of demons. So for fulfilling these three purposes, Murtanando, the personification of joy, Vrajapati Grihe, appeared in the home of Nanda. Jatavat Pradurasi, just like Jatavat, ordinary child, he appeared. A very sweet verse in Ananda Vrindavan Champu, which describes the three reasons for Krishna's appearance in the home of Nanda Maharaj. So dear devotees, this is a very nice verse, and we should remember these three purposes of Krishna's appearance. To bring the liberated sages into the fold of Bhakti is the first. To give pleasure to his own devotees who are already in Bhakti Yoga by exhibiting pastimes of various rasas, that is the second. And to relieve the burden of earth which is being troubled by various folds of demons. This is the third reason. So total three reasons. A very sweet verse. So dear devotees, when Krishna appeared in the home of Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yashoda and all the servants and Nanda Maharaj were fast. Mother Yashoda and the servants were fast asleep. And When Mother Yashoda and the servants were fast asleep, Krishna was already there. Maharaj Vasudev had taken away the girl child of Mother Yashoda, and Krishna was lying there on the bed. Mother Yashoda was fast asleep, everyone else, all the servants were fast asleep. So Krishna wanted to make his presence felt, and Krishna wanted to utter the first sound from his mouth. So dear devotees, Sri Kavi Karnapur beautifully describes what was the first sound that came out from Krishna's mouth. So Sri Kavi Karnapur composes a beautiful verse in the meter Shardula Vikriditam. This is the same meter as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. I will try to sing it. Please hear carefully. Nidrani sati sutika parijane matra samam sarvata satyo jata shishu swabhav sarasam chakranda balo hari ओंकार की निवातनोद्भगवत कंठोपकंठं गता तल्लीलोत्सव कर्मणोस्य महता प्राङ्मङ्गलद्योतना निद्राणे सति सूतिका परिजने Nidrane, everyone was asleep. Sutika Parijane, all the Prasutikas, all the nurses, all the servants of Mother Yashoda. Matra Samam, just like Mother Yashoda was asleep, all of them were also asleep. Sarvata, everywhere. Satyo Jata Shishu, but there was a newborn child there. Swabhava Sarasam, and newborn children have a particular nature. Preeti Vilasini Mataji, if you can hear me, can you please tell me what is the first thing that a newborn baby does?
Cries.
Cries. Chakranda Balu Hari. So Hari started crying. And how did Hari start crying? You see, it is given here. Priti Vilasini Mataji, can you please cry after me? Om,
Oh,
Om,
oh,
Om,
oh,
Om.
oh.
It seems as if Om itself appeared in the throat of the Lord. And by its sound, it indicated the all-auspicious commencement of the great festival of Krishna's pastimes on earth. Dear devotees, in Shastra, there are two terms which are considered to be very auspicious. One is Omkar and one is the term Atha. Omkaras chath shabdascha dvavetau brahmana pura kantham bhitva viniryatau tena mangalika vubhav. Omkarascha atha shabdascha. At the beginning of creation, when Brahma was deep into meditation, two terms spontaneously came out of Brahma's throat, Om and Atha. And these two were the first sounds in the universe. Tena Mangalika Ubhav. Therefore, these two are considered to be very auspicious sounds. So similarly, Sri Kavi Karnapur says that when Krishna cried out, it appeared as if Omkar, Shabda Brahma, appeared from the mouth of Param Brahma Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And this Shabda Brahma indicated all auspiciousness for all the pastimes that were about to follow. Very sweet verse in Anand Vrindavan Chapu, dear devotees. Let's move ahead. After Krishna started crying, Mother Yashoda suddenly woke up. And when Mother Yashoda woke up at that point of time, Mother Yashoda noticed, oh, I have given birth to a child and I was so tired I could not even notice that spontaneously a child has been born. So when Mother Yashoda picked up that child, something happened. And Sri Kavi Karnapur beautifully describes in Anand Vrindavan Champu as to what happened. Mother Yashoda experienced her first fear in relation to Krishna. This verse is also in the meter Shardula Vikredita. Gyatva jatamapatyameekshitumadhanyanchattanustattana आलोक्य प्रतिबिंबितां निजतनुं अन्येति शङ्काकुला गच्छारादिति तन्निरासनपरा पश्यन्त्यमुष्याननम् मुक्ताहारमिवोपढौकितवती स्नेहाश्रुणो बिन्दुभे. Sweet verse, very sweet verse. Gyatva jatam apatyamikshitum, knowing that a child has been born to her. Ikshitum, she wanted to see that child. Atha nyanchattanu, so she bowed down and picked up Bhagwan. And tattana, and in the body of Krishna, alokya pratibimbitam, she saw her own reflection. Nijatanum, her own reflection she saw. Anyeti shankakula, she could not recognize herself. She was tired. She thought, who is this other lady within the body of my child? Is this some inauspicious ghost? Is this some inauspicious creature who has overtaken the body of my child? So she immediately started chanting Bhagwan Nrsimha's mantra. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvatomukham Nrisimham Bheshanam Bhadram Mrityum Namamyaham. And she tried to ward away what she perceived as an evil spirit. Gachara, Gachara, go away, go away. Iti tannirasana para. And she tried many ways to drive away. Pashyantyamuşyananam. And then finally she realized actually it is her own self. And then she saw the beautiful face of Bhagavan. Muktaharamivopadhaukitavati. And then she sprinkled pearls on the face of Bhagavan. But these were not ordinary pearls, dear devotees. Sneha Shruno Bindubhi. These were the pearls of her loving tears that she showered upon the face of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So very beautiful verse, dear devotees. This is the translation. Knowing that a child has been born to her, Yashoda woke up and looked down to see him. Seeing her own reflection in his body, she feared that some other inauspicious spirit is present in the child's body. She then chanted prayers to remove that spirit and then said loudly, Kacharat, get out of here. She then started crying and showered the face of her newborn child with profuse droplets of her own tears. So dear devotees, this is the beauty of Sri Kavi Karnapur. He has composed such beautiful verses in the service of Bhagavan. Only if we read them carefully will we be able to understand in great depth what he is trying to say. And there is also beautiful commentary on this entire Anand Vrindavan Champu by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So this beautiful commentary is very helpful in understanding all these verses. Anyways, moving ahead. So next morning, Nanda Maharaj and everybody was informed, Putrotsava, that there should be a celebration because Putra, a son, has been born. So Nanda Maharaj celebrations began in his home, and this is described very beautifully by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada describes in the Krishna book. The next day it was declared that a male child had been born to Yashoda. According to Vedic custom, Nanda Maharaj called for learned astrologers and brahmanas to perform the birth ceremony. After the birth of a child, the astrologers calculate the moment of the birth and make a horoscope of the child's future life. Another ceremony takes place after the birth of the child. The family members take baths, cleanse themselves, and decorate themselves with ornaments and nice garments. Then they come before the child and the astrologer to hear of the future life of the child. Nanda Maharaj and other members of the family dressed and sat down in front of the birthplace. All the Brahmanas who were assembled there on this occasion chanted auspicious mantras according to rituals while the astrologers performed the birth ceremony. A very beautiful celebration began, and Nanda Maharaj started giving profuse charity. He dressed up very well. Everybody in Vrindavan dressed up very well. And there is a very sweet contradiction in this Nanda Utsav. A very sweet contradiction, dear devotees, is described by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Gopal Champu. Because when a Putrotsav is celebrated, usually what happens is many people come begging to the home of the person who is celebrating Putrotsav, and that person gives dan or charity. But Srila Jiva Goswami says in Nanda Utsav, when Nanda Maharaj was celebrating his Putrotsav, a sweet contradiction occurred. In the Gopal Champu, Srila Jiva Goswami describes Grahita yachitanyatra pradatangi kriyayuta Shrimannandena danetu tatra jato viparyayah Grahita yachita anyatra. In other places, the yachita, a person who begs, grahita, a person who actually receives, is yachita. He first has to come and beg. In other places, this is what happens. Elsewhere in the world, it is seen that the person who accepts charity has to first ask for it. And the donor has to accept the proposal and say, Swasti, yes, all auspiciousness to you. I will give you charity. But Shriman Nandena Dane tu, in the case of Nanda Maharaj's charity, the opposite was seen. The donor, Nanda Maharaj, was giving even without being asked. So nobody had to ask. Nanda Maharaj was simply giving. And the receivers were saying, Swasti, Swasti, all auspiciousness to you. Nanda, all auspiciousness to you. So the reverse occurred in Nanda Maharaj's Utsava, Putrotsava, that he celebrated after Krishna's birth. So very nice verse describing Nandotsava by Srila Jiva Goswami. And everyone in Braja dressed up for the entire occasion. Very nicely, everybody dressed up for the occasion. This is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada translates, the cows, the bulls and the calves were thoroughly smeared with a mixture of turmeric and oil, mixed with varieties of minerals. So all the calves and bulls also, because they are also citizens of Nanda Maharaj's kingdom, so they were thoroughly smeared with turmeric and oil. They are mixed with variety of minerals like borochan, etc. Their heads were bedecked with peacock feathers. They were garlanded and covered with cloth and golden ornaments. So all the cows and bulls were thoroughly decorated, very nicely decorated. And O King Parikshit, the cowherd men dressed very opulently with valuable ornaments and garments such as coats and turbans. Decorated in this way and carrying various presentations in their hands, they approached the house of Nanda Maharaj. So this is described by Srila Shukadeva Goswami in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now comes the dear devotee commentator from the western part of India, Sri Harish Suri, in his composition Sri Bhakti Rasayanam, which I personally consider to be like a Veda for myself. So this particular composition, Sri Harish Suri, he makes a very sweet complaint to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. After hearing all these narrations, Sri Harish Suri complains to Bhagavan. He says, and in the very sweet meter, Shikharini, Lasat Sragvaso Lankriti Driti Vahe Go Panivahe नरोषो वादोषो बत विषयिताया प्रणिहिता क्वचिद्वस्त्रालङ्कृत्य विरुचिरुदिता यदि तदा सरोषं यद्ब्रूषे वद किमु सखासौ रिपुरहम्. So Sri Hari Suri says, Lasat sragvaso lankriti dhriti vahe. O Krishna, Gopani vahe, all the multitudes of gopas satisfactorily decorated themselves using what? Lasat srag, brilliant garlands. Vasah, garments. Alankriti and jewels. When they decorated themselves, Narosho Vadosho, you did not exhibit any rosh, any anger, Vadosho, or point out any fault, but the Vishayitaya, fault of worldly pleasure, because see, decorating nicely, wearing nice ornaments, garments, garlands, this is all an indication of worldly pleasures. And the Gopas all engaged in these worldly pleasures, and you did not say anything. You did not exhibit any anger or point out any fault with them. But Kvachid Vastralankritya Viruchirudita Yaditada. On the other hand, if we sadhakas, Shri Hari Suri is taking the side of all of us sadhakas who have not yet achieved Krishna. If we sadhakas sometimes show an interest in dressing and decorating ourselves, Sarosham yad brushe, you immediately and strictly instruct us in renunciation. Through the Bhagavad Gita, you tell us that these are all sense objects and they are gates of suffering. So one should not take pleasure in them. So please tell us, Vadakimu Sakha Sahu, if these Gopas are your near and dear ones, they are your friends, Ripuraham, then are we sadhakas your enemies, dear Krishna, that you are treating us so differently? So he is lovingly lodging a sweet complaint. He knows, of course, that we are sadhakas and the Gopas are siddhas. But he is praying to Krishna, oh Krishna, just as you do not put any restrictions of Shastra on the siddhas, please one day also accept us sadhakas in your personal association, make us siddhas, so that these rules of Shastra, which are currently applicable to us, will no longer be applicable in your joyous company. See, the Vrajavasis, not all of them strictly follow Ekadashi. Nanda Maharaj follows, but not all of them follow Ekadashi strictly. The Vrajavasis, they don't fast on Janmashtami. They have a big feast. The Vrajavasis, they don't have to follow all the rules and regulations so strictly. By Vrajavasis, I mean those who were present 5,000 years ago with Krishna, the eternal associates of Krishna. But we sadhakas have to follow all of that. So Sri Hari Suri is trying to tell Krishna, please, someday also give us the opportunity to have all the worldly pleasures in your association, O Bhagavan. Because in your association, they will no longer be worldly pleasures. And they will no longer be binding us in the chains of material existence. Tavat draga dayostena, tavat kara griham griham. All these material attachments are binding a conditioned soul. Yavat Krishnana Tejana, as long as Krishna we do not become your eternal associates. So this verse is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Very nice verse. And Sri Hari Suri gives his realization on similar lines. On this occasion, dear devotees, Nanda Maharaj donated not thousands, not 100,000s, but millions and millions of cows, 2 million of cows. Sri Jiva Goswami describes in Gopal Champu. Very nice verse in the meter Arya. Ayutam prayutam niyutam भवति दशानां सहस्रमारभ्य भवति दशानां सहस्रमारभ्य नियुते 50 लक्षं तावद्धेनुरदानन्दः तावद्धेनुरदानन्दः. Sri Jiva Goswami says Ayutam 10,000. He began with 10,000. No, he was not satisfied. Prayutam. Then he gave it, he increased it 100,000. Niyutam. Then he increased 1,000,000 cows. Bhavati Dashanam Sahasramarabhi. He began with 10,000 and scaled it up to 1,000,000 cows. And Niyute Vimshati Laksham. And total he gave 2 Niyutas, 2,000,000 cows. Tavat Dhenur Adananda. Nanda Maharaj gave 2,000,000 cows in charity. Dear devotees, this was the quantity of donation given by Maharaj Nanda. But there was another personality, the father of Krishna, Vasudev, who was lodged in the prison house of Kamsa. He also knew in his heart that my son has been born, and he had tremendous desire to give charity of cows. But Vasudev could not do any charity on that particular day. But he could perform mental charity. And the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Sukdev Goswami describes, Mudad Vijayabhyo Yutamapluto Gavan. Vasudev mentally donated 10,000 cows to the Brahmanas. Ayutam, 10,000 cows Sri Vasudev donated through his mind. So dear devotees, between Nanda Maharaj's donation and Vasudev's donation, we should understand that there is something special about Vasudev's donation. That Vasudev's donation of cows, was carried out using his mind. And at that point, Sri Harisuri says that we should emulate Vasudev's character. We should emulate Vasudev's Go Pradhan. Go means cow and Pradhan means donations. So we should emulate Vasudev's Go Pradhan. And he composes a beautiful verse in the meter Malini. Bhagavati vidhi yoga dagate dhyaksha bhavam hitamatirati-tosha daksha jatam tadaiva vigata vividha bhavo yojayet brahma bhute kimiti sa vasudevo bodhayat go pradana. He says Bhagavati vidhi yoga agate adhyaksha bhavam. If by arrangement of vidhi, providence, another meaning of vidhi is Brahma, because Krishna had appeared by the arrangement of Lord Brahma. Vidhi yoga, by the arrangement of providence. Bhagavati agate adhyaksha bhavam. If Bhagavan appears in front of us at any time, see, two parallels have been compared here. One is Vasudev and one is the Sadhaka. So for Vasudev, by the arrangement of providence, Bhagavan appeared in front of his eyes. And if by the arrangement of same providence, if Bhagavan appears in front of us at any time, then Hitamatir, a person who desires his ultimate benefit, Atitoshad, immediately, satisfactorily, Akshajatam Tadaiva, give up all other considerations, Vigata Vidita Bhava, and immediately take all his senses, because one meaning of senses Prabhupada taught us is go, and surrender all the senses, Pradhan, to that Supreme Absolute Lord who has appeared in our lives. So we should also do Go Pradhan. We should offer the unlimited senses that we have acquired in all the previous lives and this lives. And as soon as Krishna appears in front of us, we should do that Go Pradhan towards Krishna. We should surrender all of our senses to Bhagavan. This very fact was demonstrated by Sri Vasudeva. Kimiti sa Vasudevo Bodhayat Go Pradana. When he engaged in Go Pradan, cow charity, on the appearance of Krishna. The dear devotees, beautiful verse having two layers of meanings. One layer for Sri Vasudev, one layer for the Sadhaka. So very nice verse by Sri Harisuri. Srila Jiva Goswami takes us back to Nanda Maharaj's courtyard. And he says, such a surprising thing happened there in Nanda Maharaj's courtyard, that all the four yugas appeared simultaneously there. Dear devotees, please see this. Vibhabhuva vina satyam dhyanam tretam vinamakha vinadvaparam abhyarcha harir nama kalin vina. Vibhabhuva vina satyam dhyanam. Srila Jiva Goswami says, although it was not Satya Yuga, but everybody was meditating constantly on Krishna. See, meditation is the perfection process for Satya Yuga. But although it was not Satya Yuga, everybody was, in proper dhyan of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Tretam vinamakaha, although it was not Treta Yuga, but there was fire sacrifice going on for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. And it was not Dwapara Yuga. Why was it not Dwapara Yuga? Because Dwapara Yuga had almost ended and Kali Yuga was about to start in a few hundred years. So it was Yuga Sandhi. So the conjunction of two Yugas. So Krishna had appeared at the conjunction of Dwapara and Kali. So Vina Dwaparam, although it was not exactly Dwapara Yuga, but Abhyarcha, there was worship of Lord Vishnu going on in the temples. And Hare Nama Kalim Vina, and everybody was chanting Bhagwan's name even though Kali Yuga had not even arrived. So everybody was saying Nanda Nandan ki jai, Yashoda Nandan ki jai. Everybody was chanting Harinam, although it was not Kali Yuga. Srila Jiva Goswami says, even though it was not Satya Yuga, everyone meditated perfectly on Krishna. Even though it was not Treta Yuga, the priests performed fire sacrifices. Even though it was not Dwapara Yuga, the pujaris worshipped the Vishnu deities perfectly. And even though Kali Yuga had not yet arrived, the holy name of Krishna was resounding everywhere. A beautiful verse, a beautiful description of the celebration that occurred at the time of Krishna's appearance. Moving ahead, it is said that from that day onwards, all good fortune was present in Brajabhumi. So it is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Shukadeva Goswami. This is the verse from the Bhagavatam. Tata arabhyanandasya vrajah sarva samriddhiman harer nivasat magunai rama kridam abhundripa. Tata arabhya, henceforth, Nandasya Vrajah, the abode of Vraja belonging to Nanda Maharaj, Sarva Samriddhiman, became blessed with prosperity in all ways, as it turned into a pleasure garden for the sporting of the goddess of fortune, Rama Kridam Apun, who had appeared there after Vraja became the abode of Hari. Because Narayan appeared there, so Lakshmi also appeared there, and Lakshmi appeared there, so Vraja became Sarva Samriddhiman, prosperous in all ways. It comes to milk, wealth, cows, all sorts of good fortune, beauty, everything increased in Vraja from that day onwards. So here Sri Harisuri is waiting for his opportunity to say something on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Harisuri says, dear devotees, please know we should not fear at all. And then he says to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. The meter is again Mandakranta. Yasya prapti spurati bhuvi me syada savarthahina Shrinathedam vitatha kathanam vyartha bhiti pradamna Prapta Shriman Yadahani Bhavan Gokulam Taddinadi प्राप्तोत्कर्षं समजनीयतः सर्वसंपत् समृद्धम्. So he says, Yasya prapti spurati bhuvime. Krishna, you have said in other places in Shastra and also in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasyaham anugranami harishe tad dhanam shanai. If I am about to be attained, if I am pleased with somebody, I snatch away all the wealth of that person. Syad asau arthahina. That person becomes completely devoid of wealth. The Sri Hari Suri says, he reminds Krishna of this verse and he says, Srinath idam, O Srinath, O Lord of Lakshmi, idam vitatha kathanam vyartha bhiti pradam naha. Now it seems to me that you said like that simply to generate some false fear in the devotees. Vyartha bhiti pradam. Why do you say like that, O Hari Suri? Praptah Shriman Yadahani Bhavan Gokulam Tad Dinadi. Because the day you appeared in Gokula, it is very clearly given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Praptotkarsham Samajaniyata Sarva Sampat Samriddham. Gokula and all your devotees became very prosperous in all ways. So when the Srimad Bhagavatam itself has said that on attaining you, all the devotees became prosperous in all ways. So why should I fear your statement in the Bhagavatam where you say that if I become pleased and if some devotee attains me, then I relieve that devotee of all his wealth. Henceforth, I will not fear that statement of yours. This is the translation. O Lord, you have made a statement that whomsoever on earth pleases and attains me, I make him devoid of all wealth. However, this statement of yours appears now to be needlessly creating fear. Just see, the day that you attained Gokula on this planet, it became very prosperous and became fulfilled with all riches. A very nice verse. Finally, Shri Kavi Karnapur says, in a beautiful verse, he describes that this was not Krishna actually. It appeared as if a unique bluish lotus had appeared in the courtyard of Nanda in the lap of Mother Yashoda. Dear devotees, let us meditate on that bluish lotus in the courtyard of Nanda, who is there present in the lap of Mother Yashoda. This meditation should be there with us as we go into celebrating Nandotsav. Very nice verse by Srila Kavi Karnapur. Meter is Shikharedi. Anaghratam bringairanapahrita saugandhyamanilai anutpannam nireshvanupahatam nurmi kanabharai adrishtam kenapi kvachana chachidanam tasaraso यशोदाया क्रोडे कुवलयमेवौचस्तदमव. So Sri Kavi Karnapur says, just see the beauty of this bluish lotus in the lap of Yashoda. Actually, this bluish lotus is revealed on the last line. So sorry for breaking the surprise here. Because sometimes while doing the translation, you have to explain who is the person who is being glorified. But if you read in the Sanskrit, you will come to know it in the very last line. First, you will be surprised who is being described. Anaghratam bringair. Anaghratam bringair is such a lotus that whose fragrance has never before been experienced anagrata by the bumblebees. First characteristic of this bluish lotus. So his fragrance has never been experienced by the bumblebees. Anapahrita saugandhyamanilai. And this fragrance is such that it has never been carried away. Anapahrita. Never been carried away by anilai, by the winds. Such a unique lotus. Anutpannam nireshu. Nireshu. Never born. Anutpannam in the ordinary waters, nireshu of this world. This is such a blue lotus. It was not born in the ordinary waters of this world. So Anutpannam. And Anupahatam Urmi Kanabhare. And ever untouched, Anupahatam, by Urmi Kanabhare, by the droplets of water raised by the waves in the lake. And Adrishtam Kenapi, never before seen. Vachanacha, never before seen by anyone anywhere. Who is he? Chidananda Saraso. He is Chidananda Sarasa, personification of joy and rasa. Yashodaya Prode, in the lap of Yashoda. Kuvalaya mi vaujas is bluish, Kuvalaya lotus, bluish lotus, Kuvalaya. Eva Aujas, he is the bluish effulgence. Tadabhava, then he appeared like that, seated in the lap of Yashoda. Dear devotees, there is a beautiful Vyanjit Arth, beautiful indication here, indicated meaning here. Dear devotees, there are many poets who write about lotuses in this world. There are many poets who write about the beautiful things of this world. Dear devotees, this lotus is not like that ordinary lotus. Anaghratam bringayar. The devotees are like the bumblebees, bringers. But all the devotees who have appeared till now in this material world, they had, experienced the fragrance of other avatars, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha. But this is such a lotus that the bumblebees have not experienced till now the fragrance of this bluish lotus. So, dear devotees, fresh lotus for all of you to experience the aroma of. And anapahrita sogandhyam ahilal. And the winds of Vedic literature, the winds of the poets' descriptions had not previously carried away the fragrance of this bluish lotus, because the poets had previously described other incarnations, but they had not described the sweetness of Krishna's Madhurya Ras. So this fragrance was never carried away previously by other poets. Nireshu, Nira means Jala. Jala also is Jada. This material world is like Jala. It is like ordinary water. It is filled with, it is half filled with water. It is Jada. It is materialistic. And this lotus is not born in this materialistic world. This bluish lotus, Bhagavan Krishna, has come directly from the spiritual world. Anutpannam and anupahatam. It is not touched by the droplets of this Jada. It is not touched by this form of Bhagavan, is not touched by the miseries of this dull material world. And adrishtam kenapi. And such a form was never seen before. Chidananda Saraso, this beautiful form of joy, eternal, everlasting joy, is present in the lap of Mother Yashoda, like a bluish lotus, and it is fresh for all of you devotees. Sri Kavi Karnapur says, I am presenting this fresh lotus, bluish lotus to all of you, so that all of you may relish the fragrance, the beauty, the radiance of this bluish lotus. It is only and only for all of you devotees, not for all the ordinary poets of this world. It is only for you, Sahriday Bhaktas, that I am presenting this. So, dear devotees, on similar lines, I would also say that on this Janmashtami, I presented to you this bluish lotus, which was blooming in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj in the lap of Mother Yashoda. But it is possible that while describing this bluish lotus, I may have made many mistakes. Obviously, I am a conditioned soul in the material world, full of 4 defects. So there might have been many defects in the presentation. And I would like to end with this verse, which is from a literature belonging Srimad Bhagavatam, a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam named Bhagavata Champu by a poet named Abhinav Kalidas. He says, please excuse my faults. And I also pray to all of you, please excuse any faults. Dosham vimunchat gunamshamudaramatra santah pratichat gunaikatrishodayatra त्यक्त्वा कलङ्कमनवद्य सुधांशु खण्डम् ईशो बिभर्ति शिरसानतिमादरेण दोषं विमुञ्चत गुणांशमुदारमत्र सन्तः O merciful saintly souls, dosham vimunchat, kindly ignore any faults in you. Gunamshamudaramatra pratichyata, and focus only upon what is good and acceptable in you. Dayardra, because you are full of mercy. Yaktva kalankam. Please see, does Lord Shiva also not ignore the dark spots on the moon? Yes, he does. Indeed, he does. Anavadya sudhamshu khandam. And he also respectfully places the nice part, the nectar bestowing moon. Isho bibharti shirasana kimadarena. Does he not respectfully do that? Yes, he does that. He ignores the faults, the spots on the moon, and he still carries the moon on his head. Similarly, dear devotees, please ignore all the faults that may have occurred in this presentation. And just like Lord Shiva, please ignore all the faults and please accept me, just as Lord Shiva accepts the moon on his head. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Krishna Janmashtami Mahamahotsav ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the very, very fantastic class. It was so meditative, so beautiful. You literally brought us the blue lotus in front of our eyes. It was so nice. I did have one question. The question was about when Yashoda was seeing her reflection when she saw Krishna and she was thinking there is a ghost and she was telling, go away, go away. So how is it that she was seeing the reflection when she was seeing the body of Krishna? Was it because Krishna was so bright, or how do I understand that?
So there is a Vyanjit Artha, there is a hidden indicated meaning that Krishna's body is like Ujjwal Neelmani, that it is like the brilliant sapphire in which everybody can see their own reflection. So that is the indicated meaning there. Of course, it is the devotee poet's heart, which is reflecting all these beautiful realizations. So what he wants to convey is that Krishna's body is like Ujjwal Neelmani, in which Mother Yashoda could see her own reflection. That is what he did.
Brilliant. So beautiful. Thank you, Prabhu. You really flooded us with nectar today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Vinita Mataji, you want to take over?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hope you can hear me, Prabhu. Suddenly, I don't know what's happening with my microphone. Thank you so much for such a beautiful, beautiful class, Prabhu. As Mataji said, it was very good meditation of whole past time. Thank you so much. I have one raise hand, Prabhuji. We'll take that first. Yes, please go ahead. Ankit Rai Chaudhary. I don't know. What is it?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam.
Thank you very much for such a wonderful session in this auspicious August of Janmashtami. Prabhu, I have actually two questions. First is that as neophytes, we see that our faith is not very strong on Sadhu Guru Shastra. As it explains that neophyte has Komal Shraddha. That our faith is not so strong. So what is to be done that we develop full unflinching faith? So this is my first question. And second question is that when we realize that we have committed offense to someone, that Vaishnava is no longer, that person is not. Can
you hear, Mataji?
No, Prabhuji, we cannot hear. I think he got breaked.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got
yes.
disconnected. Yes, the second question is that when we see, when we commit, when we realize that we have committed offense to a Vaishnava, but it is not also possible to go to the Vaishnava and beg forgiveness because he maybe left the world, or he may be, very advanced Vaishnava, just not approachable, just ordinary people like us. So what to do in that situation? So in these two questions I have, if you kind enough to reply.
Okay. So first is, how do we develop Shraddha? Is that your first question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, that's the first question.
So this question is answered by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhurya Kadambini. So in Madhurya Kadambini, I am showing here, he says, Tatra Bhakti Adhikarinah Prathamam Shraddha. So now for those who are adhikaris or eligible candidates for Bhakti, Prathamam Shraddha, first prerequisite is Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Sacha, that Shraddha is Tat Tat Shastrarthe Dhrida Pratyayamayi. Shraddha is nothing but having firm faith in the words of devotional Shastra. Then finally of course he gives a big description. Then he comes to your question. Sacha Sacha Swabhaviki Kenapi Balad Utpadita. So Shraddha is attained in two ways. He says Swabhaviki. Some person, some devotee has Swabhaviki Shraddha. Innate natural Shraddha, which is a result of previous lifetimes of performing bhajan. So that is known as Swabhaviki Shraddha. Now, some candidates may not have that Swabhaviki Shraddha. So second is Kenapi Balad Utpadita. Somehow, Balat Utpadita, in the association of a devotee, forcefully Shraddha also sometimes arises within the heart. So these are two types of Shraddha which are mentioned by the previous acharyas. So having said that, this is the answer to your first question, that how do we develop Shraddha? Now, second is, how if we have committed an aparadh towards a Vaishnava, and if that Vaishnava has passed away, then what do we do? So that is also, in Madhurya Kadambini only, later Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur will say that if it is not possible to atone for the Vaishnava aparadh by asking for forgiveness, then what one can do is, in a secluded place, in a very, very very dejected state of mind, or in a very in a state of mind where one is filled with guilt, in a lamenting state. Actually, lamenting is the correct word. In a lamenting state of mind, one should chant Harinam, thinking that I have committed a great aparadh. So if that if it is not possible to ask for forgiveness, then that this can be done. But doesn't mean that one can think, oh, now I can commit aparadh and then later I will chant Harinam with great remorse. Because if anybody thinks like that, then immediately he becomes embroiled in another aparadh, that is to commit aparadh and sinful activities on the strength of chanting Harinam. So, but if accidentally or sometimes once in a while, once in a lifetime, some aparadh has occurred, then one can atone through these means. So this is the answer to your query. I hope it is satisfactory.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Very good.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Next, Omkar. Prabhuji, can you go ahead?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. Happy Janmashtami. Prabhuji, I had two questions. Am I audible?
Yeah, but there is a buzzing sound in between.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, yes.
Prabhuji, I had two questions. First question is, I had heard in a lecture regarding this, there's no difference between Krishna, who is present in Mathura, Vrindavan, and Dwarka. But similarly, I had in another lecture that Krishna never, Rajendranathan Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So, I mean, the expansion of the Vasudev feature goes to the other parts. So, how to understand this thing? That does actually feature go to the Mathura or Dwarka? I mean, the same Krishna goes in the Mathura and Dwarka.
So, first thing is the question that you asked is, you have heard that in Mathura, Vrindavan, and Dwarka. In Dwarka, in Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka, you have heard that Krishna is the same. So that, but why do we say that he is complete in Vrindavan? That is the question you are asking.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji, on the similar lines, but the point was like, we say that in Mathura, Dwarka, the Vasudev feature is there.
So, okay. I will show you the Praman from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, and you can see here, this is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He says, Rupa Goswami says, Nitya Guno Vanamali, Yadapi Shikhamani Rashesha Netrunam, Bhakta Pekshikamasya, Trividatvam Likyate Tadapi. This is Nitya Guno Vanamali. Our Vanamali is eternally full of all qualities. Yadapi Shikhamani, he is the crest jewel, Ashesha Netranam, of infinite eyes. But Bhakta Pekshikamasya, but because different devotees see him in different ways. Trividatvam Likhyate Tadapi. So I am describing the same Krishna in three different ways, although Krishna is complete. Then he says, Harihi Krishna Purna Tamaha Purna Taraha Purna Iti Tridha. Hari Krishna, the personality Krishna, is Purna, complete, Purna Taraha, more complete, Purna Tamaha, most complete. So where is he complete, more complete, most complete? Down he says, Krishnasya Purna Tamata, he is most complete, Purna Tama. Vyakta Bhut Gokulantare, he is expressed within Gokula. And Purnata Purna Tarata, and he is Purna and Purna Tara in Dwarka, Mathura, Dishu, in Dwarka and Mathura, etc. So these are the Pramanas. Although Krishna is complete everywhere, but because the devotees see him in different rasas, therefore in Dwarka he is Purna, Mathura Purnatara, and Gokul Purnatam. So that is the answer to your first query. I hope it is satisfactory. Did I answer your query?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, bro. The second question was that we should make it a point that we personally hear from our Diksha Guru and Shiksha Gurus and other advanced Vaishnavas. But sometimes due to circumstances, it is not possible that we'll be personally with them, at least at present time. So we can hear their Vani or recorded lectures. So at that time, how practically, I mean, like while hearing the lecture, should we take notes, or like should we lecture 3 or 4 times? Like what exactly is, like you used to mention that we should hear it very attentively. So what is mean by exactly attentively? Could you explain that?
Yeah. See, a complete Vyakhyan or a complete explanation of Shastra, it consists of 5 elements. See, when a guru explains something, when a sadhu explains some Shastra, that is known as Vyakhyan. So when a Vyakhyan takes place, there are a total of 5 elements which should be present in a complete Vyakhyan. Now, these 5 elements are present when a sadhu is personally there. But when a sadhu is not personally present, sometimes we have to ensure that 5 elements are present there. So how do we do that? I would like to show a verse which is there in in Parashar Upapurana. So in Parashar Upapurana, there is a very nice verse which describes the 5 characteristics of a complete Vyakhyan. And I had listed these 5 characteristics of a complete Vyakhyan in one of the posts that I had made on my wall. I will share my screen so that it is possible for everyone to see. So it is best to explain Srimad Bhagavatam according to the standards of an ideal Vyakhyan or explanation given in Shastra. The ideal Vyakhyan is given as follows. Padachchedah padarthoktir vigraho vakyayojana akshepasya samadhanam vyakhyanam panchalakshanam. So Vyakhyan, complete explanation of Shastra, is consisting of 5 items. Padachchedah, breaking down the text into individual terms. This you can get from Prabhupada's books. Padartha Uktihi, explaining the meaning of each and every term. So you can get one layer of meaning from Prabhupada's books. For other layers of meanings, you have to refer to other Acharyas' commentaries. Vigraha, explaining grammatical breakdown of difficult terms. So this you may require commentary of previous Acharyas or the association of a sadhu. Or you should yourself be able to do Vigraha, breakdown of difficult terms. Vakya Yojana, then you should be able to do Anvay or meaningful sentence. You should be able to form by showing the connection between the terms. So this is known as Anvay. And final thing is only possible usually when a personality is there. Akshepasya Samadhan, resolution of various doubts of the listeners. So this is Vyakhyanam Panchalakshanam. These are 5 characteristics of a complete Vyakhyan. So if this is possible in the association of a sadhu, very nice. If not possible, we should try to do it in the presence of some Shiksha Guru. If it is by all means not possible, then as many elements of a Vyakhyan that are possible for us, we should try to attain. But this is about understanding Shastra. There is something else known as falling in love with Krishna, getting attracted to Krishna. That will only happen through the agency of some devotee. For that, we require the personal blessings of some devotee. So I hope that answered your query to some satisfaction.
Yes, Roji, thank you, bro. And I had just a slight clarification. We say that Vasudev Krishna appeared in Mathura while on the Janmashtami. So here
Vasudev
also we should Vasudev Krishna. So here also we should understand that it is just the Purna manifestation, or Krishna is not completely manifested. Just
Purnatara, because in Mathura is Purnatara.
in this way we have to accept it. Right?
Yeah, right.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Next, Panishwari Lakshmi Mataji, please go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances, all glory to Prabhupada. My question may be a little complicated, but you're the best person to answer. Can you explain why different times, different parts of India celebrate different day of Janmashtami? For example, some are celebrating yesterday, some celebrate today. I see in the calendar here, Rohini and Tidi and Nakshatram are both have come in US and West Coast anyway for us. So we, so celebrating. So where does this difference come in Tidi?
Right. So in India as well as in other places, there is something known as Smarta Vichar and there is something known as Vaishnava Vichar, Bhagavat Vichar. So according to Smarta Vichar, or the thought process of the Smarta Brahmanas, sometimes a Tithi comes one day earlier or one day later. And according to Vaishnava calculations, sometimes that same Tithi doesn't fall on the same day as the Smarta Tithi. So because Smartas and Vaishnava Brahmanas have different ways of calculations, for this reason, the Smarta Tithi of Janmashtami sometimes doesn't match with the actual Tithi of Janmashtami. Now today, here in India, the Smarta Tithi and the Vaishnava Tithi have matched. So today in India, everyone is celebrating Janmashtami, and we are also, Vaishnavas are also fasting. But sometimes what happens is the previous Tithi, Saptami, it extends a little bit more into Ashtami. That is what happens. So when that happens, that Ashtami is considered to be mixed. So Vaishnavas usually avoid that Ashtami, which has remnants of Saptami. So when that happens, then Vaishnavas fast on the next day. So that is what creates a difference of Tithis. And just give a very simple explanation, because it will require an entire talk on, astronomical calculations. But sometimes the Tithis mix into the Ashtami Tithi, and the Vaishnavas reject those mixed Tithis, but the Smartas accept the mixed Tithis. Therefore, a difference of Tithis occurs. That is all. So I hope that clarifies.
Thank you, Prabhu. And can you share the Madhurya Kadambini? I think you said the verse about Shraddha.
So it was not a verse, but it was a paragraph about Shraddha. So I will once again open Madhurya Kadambini and show the relevant portion. So please see here. So it says Tatra Bhakti Adhikarina Prathamam Shraddha Sa cha Tattat Shastrartha Dridha Pratyayam. And it says Sa cha Swabhaviki Kenapi Baladutpatita. So it is of two types, Swabhaviki and Balad Utpadita. It is born out of force sometimes. What force? The force of the association of another devotee who has that Shraddha.
And the first one, so one you said was that because of the association of a devotee, we get that Shraddha. And the other one was?
First one was Swabhaviki, innate, natural Shraddha,
Innate.
as a result of Bhakti performed in previous lives. The second is one who doesn't have that innate Shraddha, has to get forceful Shraddha. That forceful is Balad Utpadita. Bal means forcibly. So that happens by the association of a devotee who has that Shraddha.
It reminds me of the past time when Srila Prabhupada, some devotee asked Srila Prabhupada was explaining how you have performed previous tapas or austerity or something in your previous life. That's why you have Krishna consciousness. And the somebody asked in the audience and said, I don't ever remember having done any kind of stuff, like any austerities or performing anything. And Prabhupada had said, yes, I have made you, or I have brought you to this, or something exact. I don't know exactly, but it reminds me of this.
I have created your good fortune.
Yes, I have created your good fortune. So this reminds me of that. So many of us have come because of the pulling of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Next, we have Sukhsagari Mataji. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Happy Janmashtami. Such a beautiful class, Prabhuji, on Janmashtami. And I have a question. Perhaps I'm a little confused how to phrase it, but I'm hoping you can help me out, Prabhuji. Many times I've heard speakers say that, I know when we are in this material world, we are readying ourselves to go and serve Krishna. So, I mean, we need to be, in fact, in one class, I heard from a senior devotee that when you're with Krishna, you'll have to, change, whatever Krishna's liking is. So you'll have to change your liking, every, even if it's every second or so, you'll have to just change your liking to that, to what Krishna is really wanting or what Krishna is desiring. So this kind of left me a little confused in the sense that I'm like, on one hand, we are given some kind of individuality. I mean, I mean, Krishna has created everybody so differently, and he also, I think he enjoys that individuality in everybody and has given us some minute independence so that we don't lose that individuality. So I am a little confused that because you were mentioning that how the Nitya Siddhas, they fulfill some of, apparent, desires in the company of Krishna, and so why sadhakas are not, they're deprived of that pleasure. And also I have read in the Nectar of Devotion that even on the Vaikuntha planets, the devotees who reach Vaikuntha planets do have some desire to see Lord Krishna in a very opulent, magnificent form. Like they want to dress him up in a lot of opulence, like how Krishna is in Vaikuntha, like that. So they still have those desires to see Krishna, in that form. So I was just, it kind of, I'm not able to understand exactly when we say that we have to dovetail each and every thought of ours, action of ours, to what Krishna desires. So how do I actually understand it, Prabhuji? What will I be doing exactly in, if and when Krishna gives me the opportunity to go back to him? So.
Right. So I'll summarize your query. So you have heard in a talk by a devotee that when we go back to the spiritual world, we will have to act exactly according to Krishna's desire and mold ourselves according to Krishna's desire. So this life is a preparation for all of that. But it doesn't seem consistent with the fact that you have an individuality, so you would also want to dress in a certain way, act in a certain way. So those things seem inconsistent. That's the question, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, on those lines, I'm just thinking how, every second we can be changing our thought to match Krishna's thoughts. That's what.
So the thing is, when Krishna accepts somebody, he makes them his eternal associate, and simultaneously that person also has freedom, complete freedom, swadhinata. So everybody in Braja have their independence. They are not like under some sort of organized slavery where you have to, curb your mind and change yourself according to the dictatorship of Krishna. It is Krishna, being under Krishna is not like being in a dictatorship. So in Vrindavan, many times the Gopas say no to Krishna. They say no to Krishna. We won't do this. We won't do that. Krishna says, I want to play on this devotee side, this Gopa side. The Gopa says, no, I will not allow you to play on my side. So this devotee who might have said this, I don't know with what did he or she exactly say. But rules of Vaidhi Bhakti are not applicable to those who are Ragatmika Bhaktas. So therefore, we should not think that when we go there, we will have to follow the rules of Shastra and Vaidhi Bhakti. When we go there, when Krishna accepts us, we will be followers of the Ragatmika Bhaktas. We will ourselves become Ragatmika. And then we will behave completely naturally in the association of Krishna. And Yoga Maya will ensure that our Swabhav, our nature remains favorable to Krishna. We will naturally have desires which are favorable to Krishna. We will feel happy in those desires. And there will never be any unfavorable desire in relation to Krishna. And our independence will also be there. Sometimes we can say no to Krishna. So, sometimes Krishna doesn't want to take a bath. So he says, no, I don't want to take a bath. So Mother Yashoda says, no, you have to take. So she forces Krishna against Krishna's will. So sometimes the opposite may happen. So it's a very spontaneous relationship, and we should not have any presuppositions about the spiritual world. especially when we are in the sadhak body. When we reach there, everything will be clear and everything will be naturally happy. This is the assurance that I can give you. I hope that is satisfactory.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Because I was getting the idea that, I mean, would I have to be almost robotic or something like that,
Right.
you know, when I reach there? And I've also heard, you know, like these, like, I mean, my question was, you know, like all of us have some kind of proclivity, like we are naturally inclined towards certain things. But even when doing service, I've heard from senior devotees, not just one, many people that, oh, whatever, you know, is given to you, you must be just ready to do it. And, you know, no thoughts coming to your mind that I'm more, you know, inclined to do this service or that service, you know, whatever Krishna needs, you should do it. So sometimes I have the problem to understand, like, because some things come naturally to me and some do not. So I was not sure how far I should go, you know, to extend myself to things which are not natural to me. And I mean, in terms of seva, not anything material. And where should I stop, or should I not stop, or am I thinking on material terms? I mean, things like that.
Right. So sometimes devotees express this idea that being a devotee means whatever seva is given to you, you should accept without any considerations. So that is somewhat okay if the seva comes from one's Diksha Guru. This thought is okay, that whatever the Diksha Guru says, you should do without consideration. But this doesn't apply to all the Vaishnavas giving us a seva. And moreover, we also have a personality. And Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam. We should serve Krishna in such a way that we remain anukul, always favorable towards Krishna. So if service towards Krishna itself is making us unfavorable towards Krishna, then how can we fulfill the criteria of Uttama Bhakti? Because Uttama Bhakti is that Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam. Anukulyena, with a mood of favorability, Krishnanu Shilanam. Service to Krishna in all possible ways. So if the service itself makes us unfavorable, then how can it fulfill the most important criteria of Uttama Bhakti? That is not possible. So any service which makes us pratikul or unfavorable towards Bhagavan or Bhakti is a service which ideally we should not engage in. But there are some services which everybody should do in Kali Yuga. For example, Harinam, Kirtan, Japa. You cannot take an excuse from these sevas in Kali Yuga. But other services, one should do what brings one closer and more makes one more favorable to Bhagavan. And all these other arguments that you should do whatever is given to you, these arguments are not rooted in Shastra. These arguments are born out of an impersonal conception of understanding Bhakti. Bhakti means suffering. Some people's understanding of Bhakti is Bhakti means you should suffer. Then only it is Bhakti. When in fact Krishna has said Susukham Kartum Avya. Bhakti is performed most joyously. So some people have that mood, Bhakti means there should be suffering. But I don't align with the views of such devotees. And neither does Shastra align with the views of such devotees. So Bhakti is Sandrananda Visheshatma. It is personification of condensed joy. So it should be performed joyously. And besides a few compulsory services like Sankirtan, means chanting Bhagwan's names in the association of devotees, chanting Japa, reading Bhagavatam, and besides the sevas given by Guru, who is our Diksha Guru, other services may or may not be accepted based on whether they are making us favorable to Krishna or not. So that is the answer to your query.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I really appreciate your answers. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your time. Prabhu, you have more time. It is already 11:41.
Yeah, I'll be awake till midnight. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. I know you always want to take all the questions, but just asking. So next we have Gaurangi Mataji. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Oh my goodness, your voice was echoing like Lord Narayan's
Wait.
voice at the beginning of Krishna Lila.
Wait, I gotta close.
Mataji joined from 2 devices, Mataji.
Yeah. Gotta leave.
Now it's fine.
Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, I have a question and I don't know, a question / comment. You know, in connection to Sugama Mataji's question just now about, you know, this robotic service, Krishna. I heard on this call one analogy. I don't know what you think about it. The analogy was that, you know, if a couple is about to get married, they might have a bridal registry, right? So that they have a variety of items from which you can choose. You know, and depending upon your own nature, you might have more inclination towards one item over others, you know. So in this way, you know, you can simultaneously serve a person while exercising or implementing your own nature, you know, so that it doesn't have to be a dictation like that. So
Right.
that was.
Yeah, you can serve Krishna according to your own nature. In fact, Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu has given examples of 9 devotees who attained perfection in 9 different ways. So that is Shukadeva Goswami's perfection is so Parikshit Maharaj is Shravanam, Shukadeva Goswami is Kirtanam, Prahlad Maharaj is Smaranam, Lakshmi is Pada Sevanam, Akrura is Vandanam, Hanuman is Dasyam, Arjun is Sakhyam, Bali Maharaj is Atma Nivedanam, so on. So these are different devotees who are attached to different processes. So similarly, we also are attached to different processes. But in Kali Yuga, everybody should carry out Nam Sankirtan compulsorily. That is the only thing I want to say.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Also, my question was, this concept of titi, you know, this like having to do with time, it's always been a bit fuzzy for me. So I wonder if you could, you know, explain that, spell it out.
Which concept?
Titi, time, you know.
Tithi. Oh, Tithi. So Tithi means it is a particular day. Now, what happens is on any particular day in the lunar calendar, because Vedic calendar is lunar calendar. So lunar calendar means it is moon centric. Now, moon means moon is also a moon, and when you take the moon into consideration, because the moon is also having constellations besides it. So on a particular day, a particular constellation is aligned and is in alignment with that particular day. So that is to be taken into consideration. And see, sometimes what happens, sometimes on the next day, sunrise occurs, but and sometimes the moon has not yet fully set. Or sometimes the moon sets much before sunrise occurs. So many such combinations happen. So because of that, what happens is one tithi sometimes runs into another tithi, or one particular lunar day runs into another lunar day. It gets mixed into another day. When that happens, it is called as a Vidha tithi. Vidha means it's a mixed tithi.
So wait, mixed tithi means that the moon sets after sunrise?
Yeah. So that tithi ends after sunrise. So So the next Tithi has already begun, because the next Tithi begins at sunrise. But the previous Tithi's moon has not yet set. I hope you are able to understand.
Yeah, so Tithi means from sunrise to sunrise, right?
Right. Sunrise till the time the moon sets.
Oh, okay.
But by the time the moon sets, then the next sun might have already arisen.
Mm-hmm. That's
So this
mixed.
will- Yeah, that is what is mixed with that. So when one Tithi runs into another Tithi, sometimes that is Vidha. When it doesn't run into another Tithi, it is called as Shuddha. Shuddha means pure.
Mm-hmm.
Shuddha means pure, Vidha means mixed. So same thing happens with Ekadashi. Sometimes, the Dashami, the 10th day, 10th Tithi runs into the 11th Ekadashi. So that Ekadashi is considered as Vidha, mixed. So on such Ekadashis, we fast on Dwadashi, and that Dwadashi is then known as Mahadwadashi. You might have seen that.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then we complete the fast on Trayodashi.
Okay, so as long as the moon sets before the sun rises, it's Shuddha. Tithi.
Right. And this is from the point of view of moon. Sometimes what happens is another point of view is nakshatra. So sometimes the nakshatra of the previous tithi has not yet moved out, but the next tithi starts. So the constellation of the previous tithi has not yet moved out, but the next tithi starts. So that is also another sort of mixture.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, so every Tithi is associated with a particular constellation.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, Prabhu, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji, for the beautiful question. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the answer. Now we have Anuradha Mataji. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful, wonderful class. So meditative it is. Need to hear it again and again. Prabhuji, in the beginning, you have mentioned about this verse where it's been said that when will that day be that when I need not fast and I need not do all these rituals like the Vedi Bhakti, and we can be naturally with you. So how do we understand this mood, Prabhu? Because as a sadhaka, sometimes it comes to me, maybe this is because I'm struggling while fasting and that's coming. It is not exactly for love, but let's just to get over this fasting and get into that place where I need not fast and just have fun with Krishna. Of course, talking only in the mood of Vrindavan Krishna, because for me, Dwarka Krishna and Mathura Krishna is not as dear, but yeah, on that mood, with being with, is it love or is this the struggle that I'm going through but then when somebody else say this, like whom we look up to, as you have mentioned the verse, how do we reconcile? I don't know if I put my question.
See, the personality who wrote the verse, Sri Hari Suri, in his life, he was following all the vows very strictly, very strictly. So as a sadhak, he was perfect. But although we follow the vows of a sadhak perfectly till the end of our life, the aspiration to become a siddha, the aspiration to be with Krishna always, the aspiration to celebrate with Krishna is always there, should be there with us. Externally, we should continue to follow Ekadashi, all the rules nicely. But this aspiration should be there in the heart of the Raganuga devotee. It should be there. For example, when Shivratri comes, so Krishna, along with all the Vrajavasis, they go to Ambikavan. And in Ambikavan, there is a big festival. So Nanda Maharaj is fasting for Shivratri. Everybody else is having a grand celebration. Nanda Maharaj is fasting, but everybody else is enjoying. And who would not, would you not want to go on a bullock cart ride with Krishna to Ambikavan, having all the nice feasts with Krishna, enjoying nicely with Krishna? So would you not want to go with Krishna to Ambikavan when Shivratri comes? Yes, Mataji.
Of course, Prabhu. Any day.
Yes. Yes. And see, in my childhood, when I was in village, there was Shivratri. Because in Maharashtra, every village has many temples. So they took me on a bullock cart to the nearby Shiva temple. And we had a nice festival in my childhood. I remember such a nice festival. I was in my village. All night there was singing. I was eating so many things. So the elders were fasting, but I was eating so nicely. The children don't fast. I was eating nicely. I was having such a nice time. There were so many food stalls, and people had prepared different food stalls. And I remember all of that. And then I can relate that somewhat I can relate. In Krishna's presence, it must have been so blissful, so blissful. So having a personal experience of something like that, it adds a greater value to relishing Krishna Lila. So if in your childhood you have had a village experience, going riding in bullock carts, attending festivals, then maybe you can also understand. I'm not sure if you have had that experience or not, but if you have had, that's a very added advantage to one's Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so many. As what I understood, that as a sadhaka, we continue our Vedi Bhakti, but as an inspiration, as an aspiration, we should always desire for the day when we would go back and, yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, and wish you a very, very happy Janmashtami and Srila Prabhupada appearance day. Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji, for such a beautiful question. We have Sureshwar Sam Prabhuji next. Please go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji, for making us remember the Lord on this auspicious day. Prabhu, I have two questions, Prabhu. First, in one of the verses, you said there are two important sounds, and one was Om, and the other one I couldn't catch, Prabhu. What was the other sound? Atha.
Atha. Atha.
Okay, what does that mean, Prabhu?
Sometimes, if you have seen in the beginning of Vedanta Sutra, Athato Brahma Jigya. Atha.
Yeah.
In the beginning of Yoga Sutras, Atha Yoganushasanam. And the beginning of Sanskrit grammar, Atha Shabdanushasanam. So Atha is at the beginning of many texts, and this Atha is an indicator of auspiciousness. Atha.
Okay.
So Omkar and Atha, these were the two sounds which are considered auspicious.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, one more question. Like when Lord Krishna appeared, right? The many devatas also appeared before the Lord has appeared, right, Prabhu? Many devatas.
Yes.
So
Yes.
So sometimes I get confused that are the devatas the pure devotees, mixed devotees, or are they not devotees, Prabhu? So that question I have.
See, the associates of Krishna are the pure devotee. The jiva, who is occupying the body of the associates, that is a pure devotee. The bodies are provided by the demigods. So the bodies of all those associates of Krishna, the Vrishnis, etc., were given by the demigods. Because if the demigods themselves come, Sri Hari Suri says, if the demigods themselves come, then who will stay in Swarga? Who will stay in heaven? So the jiva who is occupying the position of the demigod is still in Swarga, still in heaven. But they have given a portion of themselves, and that portion takes upon the role of the body of that associate of Krishna. And that soul of that associate of Krishna is the pure devotees from previous births or the eternal associates of Krishna who are going to take part in that Leela. So I hope that is clear.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. One last question, maybe it would be. Paneshwari Lakshmi Mataji has a follow-up question for Titi. Paneshwari Lakshmi Mataji, would you like to go ahead and unmute and ask your question? Thank you.
Hare Krishna again, Prabhu. I just have a question about Ekadasi, Dwadasi. When Ekadasi, when we do the Dwadasi fast, in other words, Ekadasi, we do it on Dwadasi because of the mixed. Does that still come under the purview of breaking our fast on Dwadasi? If Dwadasi has passed when we break fast, how does that work?
No, there is a rule in Vaishnava Shastras that when the Ekadashi is mixed with Dashami, you should not fast on the mixed Ekadashi, because the fasting is supposed to be exclusively within the domain of Ekadashi. But if you fast on that Ekadashi, then you will be fasting on that Ekadashi which is mixed with Dashami. So that mixed Tithi is not accepted.
Okay.
So then which is the next pure Tithi which is very dear to the Vaishnavas? That is Dwadashi Tithi. So Dwadashi is very dear to the Vaishnavas. And when Ekadashi is mixed, usually Dwadashi is unmixed. Because Dwadashi is unmixed, therefore we fast on the Dwadashi day. And a fast is never broken. It's said in common terms, we say we break fast. The fast is never broken. The technical term is paran. Fast is completed. How is the fast completed? It is completed by accepting grains on Trayodasi. Because if we say breaking fast, breaking means if you could not complete the fast, you broke it midway. That is the meaning of breaking fast.
Okay.
So the actual term is completion of fast, paran. So we complete the fast on Trayodashi in such circumstances by honoring Anna Prasad. That is completion of fast.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
So Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have a follow-up question for this. So what our mood should be on that day of Ekadasi, which we are not fasting, but it's actually an Ekadasi. But next day is not Ekadasi, but because we cannot fast on that day, according to that, so then we are fasting next day on Dwadasi. So what should be our mood on these both days? I mean, which day we have to do Abhishek or chanting more rounds, and like it is so confusing for me always.
Yeah. So because the Ekadashi has become mixed with Dashami, Vidha Ekadashi. So we give respect to that Ekadashi, but we say that this time it seems that you want us to show respects to Dwadashi Devi. So hence, kindly allow us this time to show all that respect that we show for you. Kindly allow us to show it for Dwadashi Devi. So then all the things which we are supposed to do on Ekadashi, all those things we shift to Dwadashi. Then on Dwadashi we carry out all those activities, and that is known as, that Dwadashi is considered to be very auspicious, and we honor that Dwadashi as much as we honor Ekadashi. So that is what we do. Very simple.
Thank you, Prabhu. And at the same time, how about Janmashtami fast? Like we do whole night, right? And we take water or fruit, whatever ability we can do at 12 o'clock. And then next day, how we just do our parana, and then how we go to the Srila Prabhupada appearance festival. How we don't take anything, right? So how exactly this happens, Prabhu? How do we do that?
Yeah. See, the thing is, it's a sort of a tricky situation with Janmashtami for us ISKCON devotees. Why? Because Janmashtami we are supposed to celebrate at midnight. Midnight Krishna appeared. So the fast should ideally be completed at midnight. But usually what happens is none of the Vishnu Tattva fasting is completed at midnight. You see, Narsimha Chaturdashi evening, Ram Navami afternoon, so Balram Purnima afternoon. Afternoon, do we take Anna Prasad or do we take Ekadashi? So we take, on all Vishnu Tattva days, we take Ekadashi. Why do we take Ekadashi? Also on Janmashtami, at midnight we take Ekadashi. Why Ekadashi? Because Ekadashi never breaks a fast. We don't break Janmashtami fasting by Ekadashi. Ekadashi Prasad is supposed to not break the fast. Ekadashi Prasad is supposed to continue the fast, but like Ambarish Maharaj when he was waiting for Durvasa Muni. So he wanted to complete the fast yet at the same time without breaking the fast. So he took water. So similarly, at midnight, we want to indicate that yes, we are honoring the appearance of Krishna, but we want to continue the fast all the way till the next day. So we take some falahar, some fruit, some water, and then that indicates that we have, acknowledged the appearance and at the same time not broken the fast. Then the next day is Prabhupada's appearance. The next day in the morning also we fast, and in the afternoon then we take Anna Prasad. That is what is the sequence. So if Prabhupada's appearance day would be on some other day, then we would have taken Anna in the very morning. But since Prabhupada's appearance day falls on the very next day, therefore it is postponed to afternoon. That's it.
So in the morning, no grain at all. Like I heard, like sticking one grain and then break that and then continue your fast. It's not like that, no, Prabhu. Okay, got it.
Not at least not in most of the devotee circles that I have heard. See, you'll not find a rule in Shastra for this, because this is such a unique situation that ISKCON will have to make a rule for its own. So the rule that I have seen generally is, in the next day, the first thing is the breaking of fast is not exactly the proper term to it. The fasts are never broken in Vedic culture. That this term has come from the English term breakfast, because in traditional English culture, the people would fast all night and then in the morning they would break fast by eating something. So, but in Sanskrit, in Vedic culture, it is paran, completion of fast. The Janmashtami fast is completed by in midnight. In midnight, we acknowledge the appearance of Krishna and accept some water or charanamrit, because those things don't break the fast. And then in the next day, at Prabhupada's appearance, at midday, we complete Prabhupada's appearance day fast by honoring Anna Prasad. So that Anna Prasad completes our fast. It doesn't break our fast. That this understanding should, that Anna Prasad helps us in our spiritual advancement. It doesn't create an obstruction in our spiritual advancement. That should be the understanding of the Vaishnava.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I have one more raise hand. Suksagari Mataji, please go ahead.
Sorry, Prabhuji, just a quick follow-up. I was wondering then, how about Narsim Chaturdasi and Gaur Purnima? Because on these dates too, I think because of GBC regulations or so we complete the fast with Ekashi Prasadam. So I'd like to know your thoughts on this, Prabhuji.
If you're completing with Ekadashi Prasadam, then what's the problem? The fast is not broken.
So, so are we supposed to complete it with Ekashi or with Anna? Because again, like you said, Ekashi means you're again continuing the fast, you're not breaking the fast.
So on all Vishnu Tattva days, one is not supposed to take Anna. So even though Narsimhadev appears, Vamandev appears, we can take Ekadashi and then continue that. Next morning we complete the fast by honoring Anna Prasad. That is the standard understanding. Now, when I was working, I'm still working with Shastric Advisory Committee. There came a situation because Ram Navami came as a unique situation, because what has happened is, in many cases, in many places, Srila Prabhupada himself on Ram Navami distributed Anna Prasadam after the Ram Navami celebrations. So some devotees were confused as to what to do. Should we honor Anna Prasadam on Ram Navami because Prabhupada did so, or should we continue to honor the traditional Gaudiya Math standard of Ekadashi Prasad? So the entire Shastric Advisory Committee did some research, and then we found out a very beautiful verse in Hari Bhakti Vilas. And this beautiful verse in Hari Bhakti Vilas gave the resolution to the contradiction. See, this is the verse in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Ashtaitanya Vratagnani Apo Moolam Phalam Payah Havir Brahmana Kamya Cha Gurur Vachanam Aushadham. Ashta Etani. these 8 substances are avrata gnani. They don't break a fast. These 8 substances don't break a fast. What are these 8 substances? First is apaha, water. Moolam, roots, such as sweet potatoes. Phalam, third is phalam, fruits. Fourth is payaha, milk. Fifth is havihi, the ghee which is offered or anything which is offered in sacrifice. Sixth is brahmana kamya, if a brahmana asks us to eat something. Seventh is guru or vachanam, if the guru asks us to eat something. Eighth is aushadam, medicine. These 8 things don't break a fast. Water, roots, fruits, milk, anything offered in a fire yajna, anything which a brahmana asks us to eat, anything which the guru asks us to eat, and medicine. So here was our solution, Guru or Vachanam. Since Prabhupada himself has asked in certain temples, like in the Juhu temple, he has asked that on Ram Navami there should be Anna Prasad distribution. So devotees there can optionally take Guru or Vachanam, the order of Guru, and take Anna Prasad, and it will not break their fast. So this was the resolution that we came at. But there are other temples where Prabhupada encouraged normal Ram Navami with Ekadashi Prasad. So they can follow Ekadashi. That's the answer to your question.
How amazing, Prabhu. That's a lot of research, actually. I do have a few other questions, but I will maybe reserve it for some other time, Prabhuji, relating to, our prasadam standards and things like that. So, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I really appreciate all the research you do and the clarity you give. Is so indebted, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for Prabhuji for your valuable time. You take a lot of time for question answer session and you make sure that everybody is satisfied. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your time. And I wish you once again happy Janmashtami. Thank you all dear devotees for joining today. We can close the call today. I would like to offer my obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarupyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Namo Namah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Parshad Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, closing the call, dear devotees. Hari Bol.